English isn't perfect, English is real. Welcome to Fluency English Journal.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Fluency English Journal. Welcome back to our safe space. I hope you are feeling comfortable right now. Maybe you are holding a warm cup of tea, maybe you are sitting on your favorite chair, or maybe you are simply lying in bed, listening to my voice in the dark. Today, I want to be completely honest with you. I want to share a raw moment from my day. Just a few hours ago, I walked through the front door of my apartment. It was raining outside, and the sky was already dark. I felt incredibly heavy. My shoulders were tight, and my eyes were burning. I dropped my bag on the floor. I didn't even turn on the lights. I just walked to the living room rug and lay down flat on my back. I stared at the ceiling for 20 minutes. Just silence. In that moment, a thought came into my mind. A little voice said, "You need to study English today. You promised yourself you would read that article. You need to be productive." But my body said, "No, I cannot do it." I felt a terrible feeling in my chest. It was guilt. I felt guilty because I was too tired to be consistent. Have you ever felt this way? You have big dreams for your English fluency, but your energy bar is at 0%. You want to work hard, but your brain feels like a heavy fog. If you are feeling this way right now, please take a deep breath. You are not alone, and this episode is for you. Take one final deep breath with me. In and out. You did enough today. Just by being here, just by listening to this voice, you proved that you care about your future. That is not laziness, that is dedication. Tonight, I want you to close your eyes and let go of the guilt. Your English journey is a marathon, not a sprint. One bad day or one tired day does not erase your progress. It is just a part of the map. If this episode helped your heart feel a little lighter tonight, or if you simply want a safe place to return to when the world feels loud, please consider subscribing to the channel. It would mean a lot to me to have you in our quiet corner. Go rest now. Put on your pajamas, listen to something soft, and trust that your brain is growing even while you sleep. I am proud of your progress. I will see you in the next entry. Good night. Let us stay with this feeling for a moment. That heavy weight in your chest. That voice telling you that you should be doing more. We often give this feeling a name. We call it laziness. We say to ourselves, "I'm just being lazy. I'm not disciplined enough. Everyone else is studying, but I'm just lying here." But I want you to listen to me closely right now. There's a very big difference between laziness and exhaustion. Laziness is when you do not care. Laziness is when you have the energy, but you simply choose not to use it because you are not interested. Exhaustion is completely different. Exhaustion happens when you care deeply. You want to learn. You want to improve. You have the ambition, but your internal battery is empty. Your brain has been making decisions all day, at work, at school, or with your family. It has nothing left to give. When you try to force a tired brain to study complex grammar rules or to memorize difficult vocabulary, it is like trying to run a marathon with a broken leg. It is not effective, and it is not healthy. It just causes more pain. So please, give yourself permission to be human tonight. You are not failing because you need to rest. You are simply recharging. So, what usually happens when we feel this exhaustion? When the brain is foggy and the body is heavy? Usually, we make a mistake. It is a mental trap called all or nothing thinking. We tell ourselves a story. We say, if I cannot sit at my desk and study properly for 1 hour, then I will do nothing at all. If I cannot be perfect, then I will not play the game. This mindset is actually more dangerous than the tiredness itself. The tiredness is temporary, but the perfectionism, that can stop your journey for months. I used to do this all the time. On days when I was tired, I would skip my practice completely. I would say, I will do double the work tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, because tomorrow I am busy again. We need to break this cycle. We need to understand that consistency is not about intensity. It is about showing up, even when you're messy, even when you're tired, even when you're lying on the floor. The goal is not to be a perfect student every day. The goal is simply not to quit. So, how do we keep going when we have zero energy? I want to introduce you to a concept I call the low energy protocol, or as I like to call it affectionately, the pajama rule. The rule is very simple. It says, if you are too tired to speak, you do not have to speak. If you are too tired to write, you do not have to write. You are allowed to switch your brain from active mode to passive mode. Think about language learning like a sport. Sometimes you are the player, on the field, running and kicking the ball. That is active study. That is speaking. But sometimes you are just the spectator, sitting in the stadium, watching the game. That is passive absorption. On days like today, when you are exhausted, take off the player's jersey, put on your pajamas, sit in the stadium. Your only job tonight is to let English flow around you. You don't need to analyze the grammar. You don't need to repeat the words. You just need to listen. Let the sounds of the language keep you company, like a friend sitting in the room with you. You might be thinking, but is this really studying? Am I just cheating? Let me share a secret with you. In language learning, there is a concept called the silent period. Think about a baby. Before a baby says their first word, they spend months and months just listening. They are absorbing the rhythm, the intonation, and the sounds of the world. They are not lazy. They are gathering data. Tonight, you are returning to that silent period. Think of your English skills like a fire. Speaking and writing, that is the flame. It is bright and hot. But listening is the wood. Listening is the fuel. You cannot have a big fire if you do not have enough wood. When you are tired, you don't have the energy to burn. So stop trying to make a fire. Instead, spend your time gathering wood. Listen to a podcast. Watch a calm vlog. Read a simple story. You are filling your mind with high-quality fuel so that tomorrow, or the day after, when your energy returns, your fire will burn brighter than ever. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. That sounds nice, but I am so tired that even pressing play feels like too much work. I understand. The hardest part of any habit is the start. It is the friction of beginning. So on these low-energy days, I want you to make a tiny deal with yourself. It is called the 5-minute promise. Tell yourself, I will listen to English for just 5 minutes. That is all. After 5 minutes, if I want to stop, I have full permission to turn it off and go to sleep. Why does this work? Because 5 minutes is not scary. Your brain says, okay, I can do 5 minutes. But here's the magic. Once you press play, once the voices start flowing, you usually do not stop. You might listen for 10 minutes or 20. But even if you do stop after 5 minutes, that is a victory. You kept the chain alive. You proved to yourself that you are a person who shows up no matter what. So, how do we make this easy for tonight? We need to remove the friction before the tiredness hits. My advice is to create a lazy playlist. Do not wait until you are exhausted to choose what to listen to. Scrolling through YouTube or Spotify takes energy. Decision-making takes energy. Create a saved list of easy, slow, comforting English content right now. Maybe it is this podcast. Maybe it is a favorite interview you have heard before. Keep it ready. And here's a practical tip for tonight. Prepare your environment. Put your headphones on your pillow or leave your journal open on your desk just to look at. Make the path of least resistance lead to English. Make it easier to listen than to ignore it. When your environment supports you, you do not need willpower. You just need to fall into the routine. Now, let us slow down the pace. We have talked about a lot of deep feelings today. I want to take a moment to look at 3 specific words I used in our story. These are important words, not just for English, but for understanding yourself. The first word is exhaustion. Repeat it with me. Exhaustion. We often use the word tired, but exhaustion is deeper. Being tired means you need to sleep. Being exhausted means you have absolutely no energy left. Your battery is at 0. Remember, laziness is a choice. Exhaustion is a physical state. Next time you feel this way, do not say, "I am lazy." Say, "I am exhausted." It is a much kinder way to treat yourself. The second word is friction. Friction. In physics, friction is the resistance when 2 things rub against each other. Imagine trying to push a heavy box across a rough floor. It is hard to move. That is friction. In our lesson, friction is that difficult feeling right before you start studying. The hardest part is not the studying itself, it's the friction of starting. Once you start moving, the friction disappears. The third word is spectator. Spectator. A spectator is a person who watches a show, a game, or a sport, but does not participate. Usually we think we must be players in English. We must speak, we must do. But tonight, I'm giving you permission to be a spectator. Just watch, just listen. Enjoy the show without the pressure of performing. So, let us wrap up our time together tonight. If you take only one thing from this episode, let it be this: be kind to your brain. Remember, first, exhaustion is not a character flaw. It is a biological signal. Do not fight it. Listen to it. Second, remember the pajama rule. When you cannot run on the field, it is okay to sit in the stands. Passive listening is not cheating. It is gathering fuel for your fire. You are still learning, even when you are resting. And finally, never underestimate the power of 5 minutes. The 5-minute promise is your secret weapon. It lowers the wall. It removes the friction. And often, those 5 minutes are enough to remind you that you actually love this language. You don't hate English. You just hate the pressure.